Hi, folks watching this recording. Just for total transparency, this is a re-recording of the first time we did this, just because we were working out a few kinks in the beginning. So we're going to walk through the slides one more time, and I'll be sure to capture any questions that we answered during the presentation as well. So let's talk about this event transition on our calendars. I'm Katie Collins and I'm the Web Product Manager, and if you have any issues with this, feel free to contact me at the email listed. We'll also have some other resources for you to contact at the end. So, if you're receiving this presentation, you hopefully are also receiving the slide deck and some additional help documents to help you during this transition. And this really is in regards to the event calendars that we use to share our Hostel events with our guests and our community members. This currently lives on hiusa.org on the Events tab. You can see a preview of this here. A lot of our hostels are still using Google Calendars to populate this page and to manage those events. But as an organization, we are moving over and have moved over to Office 365. So those calendars are no longer supported. And instead, we're asking hostels to start using the Outlook calendars that we have created for these events. The Google calendars that I mentioned will be removed from the website this Wednesday, and that's March 6th. And only the Outlook calendars will be visible. So we want to make sure that every hostel has that page populated with all of their wonderful events and that doesn't go missing on March 6th. So we're going to talk about how you access this new calendar, how you update it, and give you some guidelines for how to manage it. If you are using Outlook, you are going to likely be using one of two methods. You will either have this installed on your desktop, or you will be accessing it through the browser. So first, let's talk about how you can access your calendar if you're using the desktop version of Outlook. It is super easy. Once you have been granted access to the calendar, you'll just restart Outlook and voila, it will be there, and you'll see it in your list of calendars, and I'll show this to you shortly. If for some reason you should have access to your calendar, but you don't see it, make sure to contact Michael. He will be able to give you the appropriate permissions. If you are using Outlook through your browser, there are a few extra steps that you will need to take. When you're in your calendar view, under your list of people's calendars, you will see this handy link that says Discover Calendars. You'll just click that and import the relevant calendar from the directory, and I'll walk you through how to do that as well. So first, let me walk you through how you can do this in the desktop version of Outlook. You can see that all I did was open it, and on the left side, Baltimore is my example. I have access to the Baltimore activities calendar. Easy. I can select it and see the events that are coming up. Breakfast and bingo is on Friday. So if I am using my browser, instead I'm going to need to scroll down, click Discover Calendars, and then in this dialog box, I'm going to scroll down, and on the left sidebar, I'll see a link to import a calendar from the directory. And I'll be prompted to enter the name of the calendar I want to import. This is where things may get confusing. You may not know what the name of your calendar is, so I will be sending out a list of those names. I happen to know that for Baltimore, the name of their calendar is Activities Baltimore. And there it is. And I'll just click Add. And you can see Breakfast and Bingo is now listed on my calendar in a different color. These calendars are shared resources. They're just like booking a conference room. It doesn't belong to any one particular person. They're shared among many people so that we can add people and remove whenever they need to have the relevant permissions. So now let's talk about how you manage these calendars now that you have access to them. Now that you'll be moving over to Outlook, you will need to recreate all of the events that you had in your Google event calendars. And also, this applies to some hostels, but not all. Some of you have those events that you've added into Google Calendar automatically being captured into Salesforce. This will no longer be the case. Outlook events will no longer populate Salesforce automatically. So if you're ready to create your new event on your shared calendar, once again, there are different ways to do it in the different platforms. If you're using the web, you'll just, in your calendar, click New Event, and you'll see a drop-down on the top left, and you can select the calendar that that event should be added to. If you're using the desktop version, you will toggle the particular event calendar that you want to edit in the left sidebar, and then click into that calendar to create a new event. So we're going to do both of those right now. Let's do the desktop version first. You can see on my right hand that the Activities Baltimore is in orange, and on the left, my calendar is in green. And I've created this view by toggling that calendar on the left. So if I'm ready to add a new event, I just double click. And add a new event and save. And there it is. Now for the web, I go to create a new event, and I can choose in the top left which calendar I would like that event to go to. So I can click Activities Baltimore. Hold on, give me a second to refresh. I can click Activities Baltimore and click Add, and it will be added to that calendar. Now we're going to talk about what type of content should be in your events, and I'm going to pass it over to Lisa.
So hi everybody, this is Lisa Jordan, Vice President of Marketing, and I'm going to share with you some content guidelines to help you write excellent event descriptions. And the very first one is that we want to keep the event titles and descriptions short and sweet. The biggest rule to keep in mind as you are composing or updating any events is put the guest first. What is going to be most helpful for participants to know so that they can plan ahead and so they can be excited and anticipate the activities that you offer. So keep titles and descriptions short and sweet. Lead with the most appealing or most important information in the first sentence. And also keep in mind that depending on the device that people are using to view hiusa.org, there may be more or less information displayed. So if they're using their mobile device, which is very common, only the first few words in the event description are going to display in the calendar before they need to click to see the full description. If they're on a desktop, they get a little bit more information before they have to click through. But in either case, try to keep your information short and to the point. And along those same lines, use consistent description categories so that people can easily search or find the kinds of events that you're offering. So depending on what you have at your property or in your program, it may be a class, it might be a tour or a group meal or a movie night or a talk. You might even have some commonly recurring events or activities that you offer every week or every month. So use the same ways of describing those activities to help people find them easily. Next, provide essential information in a consistent order. And this is not only going to help guests and participants find out what you're offering, it's also going to make it really easy for you to create or update any new events. So lead with 1 or 2 sentences describing the activity. Include any relevant information such as the location if it's off-site, the distance from the hostel, any travel logistics, the cost that may be associated, if any other requirements or restrictions like you have to be a certain age or bring your driver's license or the timing. And then if you are requiring people to register in advance or pay in advance, you can include the website URL where you're taking those registrations. One thing that you can omit is any names or the titles of the people that are leading the activities or the events. For example, a volunteer or an engagement coordinator. That's useful for us to know internally, and it's certainly something that participants will learn once they arrive at the hostel, but it's not very relevant on the calendar in advance. Be descriptive and very clear with the names and locations. So again, keep in mind that many guests are not familiar with your area. They may be first-time visitors to the property or to the destination. So you want to make this as easy for them as possible to orient themselves and connect the dots with where they want to go. So using the proper name of a location, an attraction, or a site will also help your events get searched in Google listings. So there's a few benefits there. But whenever possible, use the full and proper name of a venue or of an attraction, such as the Museum of Fine Arts Boston, rather than Art Museum. And then when you can, also include the name of the city, the neighborhood, or the destination that the event or activity is taking place. So for example, instead of walking tour, say downtown San Francisco walking tour. Proofread and spell check, very important. And for those who are transitioning from the Google Calendars over to Outlook, please be sure to delete any copy that is a remnant from the Google Calendars, such as odd characters or a Google Hangouts video link. And then last but not least, I've provided an example of how it might look to update a event description and listing. So on the left-hand side, you can see a current listing that is on Boston's calendar, and on the right you can see what it could look like with some updates. Very simple, such as including the descriptor of the type of event. It's a tour. It's the Museum of Fine Arts Boston, so we're spelling out the complete name so people can search for it and they understand what that is. The date and the time will be populated by the Outlook calendar itself. And then a quick description, 1 or 2 sentences about the tour to get people excited. So it's a guided tour. It's open late on Wednesdays. You'll travel to the museum by train. There's a $1 cost and it's open to all ages. And again, we're trying to make this as easy as possible for participants to find out what the event is all about. So this is just an example, but short and sweet.
Awesome. So just to wrap everything up, I'd like to show you how these event calendars are going to look now that we've made this change. And the page that I'm showing you is on our development area. It's not something that's public quite yet. So on the 6th, we will push this change live and our event calendars will start to look like this. If you've taken a look at the events tab recently, you'll see that this is a big change. It's much more user-friendly, a little bit nicer to look at, and we're very excited about this direction that we're going in. So all of the events that you add in your Outlook calendar will be pulled to this new formatting. One question that we got the first time we did this presentation was what the hearts were. And it's a really handy way for users to favorite particular events. So you can see that as I heart new events, it starts to populate at the top, and then I can use that as a way to filter the particular items I'm interested in. So that's all that we have. If you have any particular questions or anything that you're struggling with, please let us know. Andy and Emily are prepared to help through the guest-centric ticketing system. I'll send that link along as well. If you're having access issues, please get in touch with Michael. And if you have any general questions, please feel free to send them my way. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.